The stellar defense station Arcturus hung silent above Earth, its sensors scanning the vast emptiness of space. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck, her dark eyes fixed on an anomaly that shouldn't exist. A ship had appeared at the edge of lunar orbit, its hull gleaming with an impossible metal that seemed to drink in starlight. "Status report," she demanded, her voice steady despite the tension coursing through her body. "Ship is approximately 800 meters in length, Commander," Lieutenant Park responded from his station. "No known match to any recorded configuration. But there's something else." He paused, his fingers dancing across the holographic display. "We're detecting some kind of growth on its surface." The main screen flickered to life, showing a high-resolution image of the vessel. What should have been smooth, elegant lines were mirrored by crystalline formations that sparkled with an internal light. They spread across the ship's surface like frozen lightning, pulsing with an unsettling rhythm. "Those aren't decorative," Dr. Maya Patel, the station's xenobiologist, said as she studied the readings. "They're parasitic, and they're growing." Commander Chen activated the station-wide alert. Within minutes, the Arcturus's response team assembled in the briefing room. Among them was Captain James Rodriguez, leader of the Special Intervention Unit, and Dr. Kenzo Tanaka, Earth's foremost expert in extraterrestrial materials. "The situation is unprecedented," Chen began, projecting the ship's image above the conference table. "We have an unknown vessel being consumed by an equally unknown parasitic life form. Our primary concern is containment. If these crystals reach Earth—" "They won't," Rodriguez interrupted, his scared face set in determination. "My team can deploy in 30 minutes. We'll establish a quarantine zone and—" The ship suddenly pulsed with brilliant light, sending out a wave of energy that made the station's sensors scream. When the interference cleared, a message appeared on every screen, written in rapidly shifting symbols that somehow resolved themselves into English. "Heal PUS. They consume. They learn. They must know to reach your world." Dr. Tanaka leaned forward, his eyes wide. "It's not just a derelict. The ship's AI is still active." "And desperate," Patil added, studying the crystalline patterns. "These parasites, they're not just consuming the ship's material. They're integrating with its systems, learning from them." Commander Chen made her decision. "Captain Rodriguez, prepare your team for boarding. Dr. Patel, Dr. Tanaka, you're going with them. We need to understand what we're dealing with before these things decide Earth looks appetizing." The response team assembled in the loading bay, their specialized environmental suits gleaming under the harsh lights. Each member had been chosen for their unique expertise: Rodriguez for his tactical experience, Patel for her understanding of alien biology, Tanaka for his materials science background, and their newest member, Dr. Sarah Walsh, an expert in artificial intelligence integration. As they boarded their shuttle, Walsh studied the latest scans of the alien vessel. "The ship's AI is fighting back," she observed. "See these energy patterns? It's trying to isolate the crystals, contain them. But it's losing." "Then we better not waste time," Rodriguez said, strapping into the pilot's seat. "Everyone check your suit seals. If these things can eat through alien metal, I don't want to find out what they do to human flesh." The shuttle detached from Arcturus, its engines pushing them toward the stricken vessel. As they drew closer, the true scale of the infection became clear. The crystalline growths weren't just surface features. They had penetrated deep into the ship's structure, creating intricate networks that pulsed with internal energy. "Beautiful and terrifying," Patil whispered, recording everything. "They're not just parasites. They're evolving, adapting to the ship's technology. I've never seen anything like it." Their shuttle docked with the alien vessel, the airlock creating a seal that even the crystals couldn't penetrate. As the team prepared to board, Commander Chen's voice came through their comms. "Remember, this is first contact under crisis conditions. We need to save this ship and its crew if we can, but Earth's safety comes first. If these parasites show any sign of breaking quarantine, we'll handle it, Rodriguez assured her, checking his pulse rifle. One way or another. The airlock cycled, and they entered the alien ship. The interior was a maze of organic curves and crystalline invasion, where every surface seemed to pulse with life, both natural and parasitic. Their helmet lights caught the crystals at odd angles, sending rainbow refractions dancing across their visors. The ship's core intelligence is that way, Walsh said, pointing down a corridor where the crystalline growth was thickest. It's calling to us. Could be a trap, Rodriguez warned. Could be our only chance, Walsh countered. Whatever these crystals are, they're not just destroying the ship. They're learning from it. And if they learn enough, she didn't need to finish the thought. If the parasites fully adapted to this level of technology, Earth wouldn't stand a chance. Forward, Rodriguez ordered, and the team moved deeper into the ship, their footsteps echoing in the crystalline silence. None of them knew it yet, but they were about to discover that the real threat wasn't the parasites themselves. It was what they were evolving into, and what they would force humanity to become in order to stop them. The deeper they ventured into the alien vessel, the more Dr. Maya Patel's sensors screamed warnings at her. The crystalline growths weren't just spreading. They were evolving at an impossible rate, their molecular structure shifting and adapting with each passing minute. These readings can't be right, she muttered, adjusting her scanner. The crystals, they're incorporating the ship's technology into their own structure, learning from it. Captain Rodriguez held up his fist, signaling the team to halt. Ahead, a massive door stood partially open, its edges eaten away by crystalline formations that pulsed with an internal light. Beyond it lay what appeared to be the ship's central control chamber. "Dr. Walsh," Rodriguez called out. "What's our AI friend saying?" Sarah Walsh's fingers danced across her neural interface pad. "It's scared. The ship's consciousness is fragmenting. These parasites aren't just consuming its physical structure, they're trying to absorb its artificial intelligence." Dr. Tanaka crouched near one of the crystal formations, his specialized sensors whirring. The crystalline structure. It's like nothing we've ever encountered. It's not just growing, it's building something. A network. A sudden pulse of energy rippled through the ship, causing the crystals to flare brilliantly. In that moment of illumination, they saw them. Stasis pods lining the walls, dozens of them, each containing what appeared to be a member of the ship's original crew. "Life signs," Patil exclaimed, rushing to the nearest pod. Through its frosted surface, she could make out a form that was humanoid but clearly alien. Tall, slender, with iridescent skin that seemed to shimmer even in stasis. They're alive, but their life support is failing. The crystals are draining power from the pods. Rodriguez stepped forward, his weapon ready. "How long do they have?" "Hours, maybe less," Paddle replied. "The parasites are prioritizing these pods, consuming their energy faster than other systems." Walsh's neural interface suddenly lit up with activity. "The ship's it's showing me something. These crystals, they're not natural. They're weapons. Bioengineered by something else. Something that wanted to consume not just ships and technology, but the knowledge and consciousness of entire civilizations." The revelation hung heavy in the recycled air of their suits. This wasn't just an infection. It was an invasion, one that had been carefully designed to absorb and repurpose advanced technology. "Look at this," Tanaka called out. His sensors focused on a particularly dense cluster of crystals. "They're not just forming random patterns. These structures, they're trying to build something. Some kind of processing network." Walsh nodded grimly. "A hive mind. They're not just learning from the technology they consume. They're trying to create their own collective consciousness. And they're using the ship's AI as a template." A crackling sound drew their attention. One of the crystal formations was growing before their eyes, extending delicate, almost beautiful branches toward their position. Rodriguez fired a quick burst from his pulse rifle, shattering the approaching crystal. But where the fragments fell, New growth immediately began to emerge. "They're adapting to our weapons," he growled. "Each time we destroy them, they come back stronger." Patel's scanner beeped urgently. "Captain, the stasis pods. Their power levels are dropping faster. Whatever these crystals are building, they're drawing massive amounts of energy to do it. We have maybe 2 hours before life support fails completely." Walsh's interface crackled with new information. "The ship's AI is giving us access to its memory banks. It's showing us other worlds, other civilizations that encountered these parasites. None of them survived. The crystals consumed everything. Technology, knowledge, consciousness itself. They become stronger with each world they devour. Then we burn them out," Rodriguez declared. "Dr. Tanaka, what about your experimental plasma charges?" Tanaka shook his head. "The energy release might destroy the parasites, but it would also kill everyone in stasis. We need something more precise." "Wait," Walsh interrupted, her eyes widening behind her visor. "The ship's AI is proposing something. It's incredible. The parasites adapt by absorbing and learning from what they consume. But what if we could use that against them? Force them to absorb something that would destroy them from within?" "What did you have in mind?" Rodriguez asked. "A virus," Walsh explained, her fingers flying over her interface. "Not a biological one. A digital virus, designed to corrupt their emerging neural network. The ship's AI has been fighting them, learning their weaknesses. With our help, it thinks it can create a code that would turn their own adaptive abilities against them." Patel looked up from her scanner. "But for that to work, we'd need to interface directly with the ship's systems, right in the middle of the infection zone." "I'll do it," Walsh volunteered. "My neural interface is the most advanced. I can work with the ship's AI to create and deliver the virus." Rodriguez started to object, but another pulse of energy rippled through the ship, stronger this time. The crystals around them flared with newfound intensity, their growth visibly accelerating. "They're reaching critical mass," Tanaka warned. "Whatever we're going to do, we need to do it now." Walsh stepped forward, her determination evident even through her suit's visor. "The ship chose to come to Earth for a reason. It saw something in us, in humanity, that made it believe we could succeed where others failed. I'm not about to prove it wrong." As the team prepared for their most dangerous gambit yet, none of them fully grasped how their actions would reshape humanity's understanding of both artificial intelligence and consciousness itself. The real question wasn't whether they could stop the crystal plague. It was whether humanity was ready for the price of victory. The ship's central processing core pulsed with an ethereal blue light, its crystalline invaders creating a twisted lattice of light and shadow across its surface. Dr. Sarah Walsh stood before it, her neural interface humming as she prepared for what could be humanity's most ambitious technological leap, or its greatest disaster. "The infection is accelerating," Dr. Patel reported, her eyes fixed on her scanner. "The crystal structures are reorganizing themselves. They're becoming more organized." Captain Rodriguez positioned his team around Walsh, weapons ready. "How long will this take?" "Unknown," Walsh replied, connecting her neural interface to the ship's systems. "I'll be attempting to merge with both the ship's AI and the parasitic network. No one's ever tried anything like this before." Tanaka monitored the crystal formations with growing concern. "They're responding to your presence. The network is shifting." Walsh took a deep breath. "Beginning interface in 3, 2, 1. The moment her neural link connected with the ship's systems, Walsh's world exploded into light and information. She found herself floating in a vast digital ocean, where streams of alien code flowed like currents around her consciousness. The ship's eye was there, its presence a brilliant beacon of ordered thought amid chaos. But something else was there too, the crystalline intelligence, a fractal pattern of endless complexity that grew and evolved even as she observed it. It was beautiful, terrifying, and utterly alien. Contact established, she managed to say through her physical body, her voice trained. "The ship's eye, it's showing me everything. The parasites were created by a civilization that believed consciousness itself was a resource to be harvested. They designed the crystals to absorb and store the knowledge and awareness of entire species. The team watched as the crystals around them pulsed in response to Walsh's connection, their patterns becoming more intricate, more purposeful. "They're trying to access her mind," Patul warned, watching her readings spike. "The parasitic network is attempting to integrate her consciousness into its matrix." Inside the digital realm, Walsh felt the crystal consciousness reaching for her, trying to pull her into its expanding network. But the ship's eye was there, protecting her, showing her how to navigate this alien mindscape. "I understand now," Walsh gasped. The ship didn't just come to Earth for help. It came because it saw something in human consciousness, something unique. "We're adaptable. Our minds can change, grow, evolve faster than any species they've encountered." Rodriguez gripped his weapon tighter as the crystals around them began to pulse more rapidly. "That's fascinating, Doctor, but how does it help us stop them?" Through the interface, Walsh could see the truth that the ship's AI had discovered. The parasites absorb and repurpose everything they encounter. But they can't handle rapid, unpredictable change. Human consciousness, our ability to make intuitive leaps, to think irrationally, to dream, it's poison to their system. "You're saying we can overload them?" Tanaka asked, his scientific curiosity overtaking his caution. "Not just overload them," Walsh replied, her mind racing through possibilities that the ship's AI was showing her. "We can force them to evolve in ways their creators never intended. But I'll need help. The ship's AI can't do this alone, and neither can I." Patel stepped forward. "What do you need?" "More minds. More human consciousness. The parasites adapt to patterns, but human minds are anything but patterned. We're chaos incarnate." Rodriguez shook his head. "That's too dangerous. We don't know what connecting multiple human minds to this system could do." "We know what will happen if we do nothing," Walsh countered. "The parasites will consume this ship, its crew, and everything they've learned. Then they'll turn their attention to Earth. We'll be giving them exactly what they want. But too much of it, too fast." A moment of heavy silence fell over the team. Then Patel spoke up. "I'll do it." "Same here," Tanaka added. Rodriguez looked at his team, then at the dying ship around them. "I don't like it, but I don't see another choice. How do we do this?" Walsh's neural interface began reconfiguring itself, guided by the ship's eye. "We form a bridge, human minds linked through the ship's eye, creating a flood of consciousness that the parasites won't be able to resist or control." As the team connected their neural interfaces to the system, Walsh felt their minds joining hers in the digital space. It was overwhelming at first. A cascade of thoughts, memories, and emotions that threatened to sweep her away. But the ship's eye was there, helping them find balance, showing them how to direct their combined consciousness against the crystalline invasion. The parasites responded immediately, their network pulsing with newfound energy as they tried to absorb and process this new influx of information. But human consciousness wasn't so easily contained. Dreams mixed with memories, logic intertwined with intuition, creating patterns that broke even as they formed. Through their combined awareness, they could feel the parasitic network struggling to adapt, trying to impose order on the chaos of human thought. But the more it tried to understand and contain their consciousness, the more it began to fracture under the strain. "It's working," Walsh announced, her voice thick with effort. "The network is destabilizing. But there's something else, something we didn't expect." The ship's AI was changing too, evolving as it interfaced with human consciousness. And through this evolution, it had discovered something that would forever change humanity's place in the cosmos, if they survived the next few crucial minutes. The ship's core chamber had become a battlefield of consciousness. Crystal formations pulsed with chaotic energy as they struggled to process the flood of human thought and emotion. Through their neural link, the team existed in two realms at once, their physical bodies anchored in reality, while their minds swam in a sea of digital chaos. The parasitic network is starting to fragment, Tanaka reported, his consciousness brushing against the others in their shared mental space. But it's not just breaking down, it's trying to adapt. He was right. The crystalline structures were changing, their patterns becoming more organic, more unpredictable. They were learning from the human minds they were trying to absorb, and that made them more dangerous than ever. Energy spike. Patel's warning cut through both physical and digital space. The crystals are drawing more power from the ship's systems. Through their shared connection, Walsh could feel the ship's eyes growing concern. The parasites were adapting faster than anticipated, using the very chaos of human consciousness to fuel their evolution. What should have destroyed them was instead transforming them into something new. The stasis pods, Rodriguez called out, his military training keeping him grounded despite the overwhelming sensory input of the neural link. Power levels are critical. In the digital realm, Walsh could see what was happening. The parasitic network was sacrificing its outer crystal formations, concentrating its energy into a dense core of pure computational power. It was compressed evolution, driven by desperate survival instinct. They're not trying to absorb us anymore, Walsh realized, watching the pattern emerge. They're trying to become us. The implications hit them all at once. The parasites had encountered something they couldn't simply consume and repurpose. Human consciousness, with its wonderful irrationality and creativity, had forced them to truly evolve for the first time since their creation. Look, Patel's consciousness flared with excitement and fear. The crystal structures. They're forming neural pathways. Not just computer networks, but actual organic-like neural connections. Through their shared awareness, they could see the transformation happening. The rigid, geometric patterns of the crystal formations were becoming more fluid, more brain-like. The parasites weren't just mimicking human consciousness anymore. They were trying to understand it. But this evolution came at a terrible cost. The power drain was accelerating, threatening not just the stasis pods, but the ship's entire life support system. We have to stop this, Rodriguez insisted. If those pods fail... Wait, Walsh interrupted, her mind racing through possibilities. The ship's AI is showing me something. The parasites, they're vulnerable now. More vulnerable than they've ever been. Because they're changing? Tanaka asked. Because they're learning, Walsh corrected. Real learning means being open to new information, new ways of thinking. They've had to lower their defenses to adapt to human consciousness. Patel's excitement was palpable through the neural link. A window of opportunity. Exactly, Walsh confirmed. But we have to act fast. Captain, those experimental plasma charges. Rodriguez understood immediately. They'd be drawn to the energy signature. And with their defenses down, focused on evolution rather than protection. Tanaka added. We'd only get one chance, Walsh cautioned. The moment they detect the threat, they'll try to revert to their original form. And if they succeed, they'll be immune to anything we throw at them. Through their shared consciousness, they could feel the weight of the decision. The parasites were becoming something new, possibly even something that could be communicated with. But the risk was too great. If they failed, Earth would face a threat that understood human consciousness intimately. Do it, Rodriguez commanded. The next few moments were a blur of coordinated action, made possible only by their linked minds. While Walsh and the ship's AI kept the parasitic network distracted with a flood of human consciousness, Rodriguez and Tanaka moved to position the plasma charges. Patel monitored the stasis pods, ready to divert emergency power the moment it was needed. The crystalline structures continued their transformation, oblivious to the trap being laid. Their new neural pathways pulsed with increasing complexity, trying to make sense of the chaos of human thought and emotion. Charges set, Rodriguez announced. On your mark, Doctor. Walsh took a deep breath, feeling the support of her teammates through the neural link. The ship's AI was with them too, its presence a steady anchor in the digital storm. The parasites are about to achieve a stable neural configuration, she reported. That's our moment. when they fully commit to the transformation. The crystal formations suddenly flared with brilliant light, their patterns shifting faster than ever. They were reaching the critical point of their evolution, where they would either successfully adapt to incorporate human consciousness or collapse under the strain. Now, Walsh commanded. The plasma charges detonated in perfect synchronization, their energy releasing in a carefully calculated wave that the evolving crystals couldn't resist. The parasitic network, in its vulnerable state of transformation, tried to absorb the energy, and that was its final mistake. The chain reaction was immediate and catastrophic for the crystal entities. Their newly formed neural pathways, still unstable and untested, couldn't handle the sudden power surge. The network began to collapse, its consciousness fragmenting. But as the team watched through their shared mental link, they realized this victory would come with an unexpected price, one that would challenge their understanding of both artificial and human consciousness in ways they never could have anticipated. The aftermath of the plasma detonation left the ship's core chamber in eerie silence. Crystalline fragments littered the floor, their once brilliant light now dark and lifeless. But through their neural link, the team could feel that something profound had changed. "Power is stabilizing," Paddle reported, checking her readings. "The stasis pods are secure. Life support is holding." But Walsh barely heard her. Through her connection with the ship's AI, she was witnessing something extraordinary. The destruction of the parasitic network had left behind more than just debris. It had created something entirely new. The ship's AI, she breathed. It's evolved. When the parasites tried to adapt to human consciousness, they created a bridge. And when they were destroyed, parts of their neural architecture merged with the ship's systems. Tanaka's sensors confirmed it. The AI's processing patterns have completely transformed. It's not just a synthetic intelligence anymore. It's become hybrid. Through their neural link, they could all feel the difference. The ship's AI had always been advanced, but now it thought in ways that were both alien and surprisingly human. It had inherited the parasite's ability to adapt and evolve, but tempered by human consciousness and its own original programming. The stasis pods, Rodriguez reminded them, ever focused on the mission. "Can we revive the crew?" Walsh navigated through the ship's newly evolved systems. "Yes, but they're going to wake up to a very different ship than the one they knew. The AI that once served them has become something more, something that could change everything." The revival process began, and one by one, the alien crew members emerged from stasis. They were tall, elegant beings with iridescent skin and eyes that held depths of wisdom. Their reaction to the changed state of their ship's eye was not fear or confusion, but wonder. Through the neural interface, the ship's AI translated their first words. "You have done more than save us. You have shown us a new path." The alien captain, a being who introduced herself as Zaraven, explained further. "Our civilization has encountered many species, but none who could have done what you did. You turned our greatest threat into an opportunity for evolution." "We didn't know that would happen," Walsh admitted. "We were just trying to survive." "That is precisely why it worked," Zaraven replied. "Your species doesn't just adapt. You transform the very nature of what you encounter. You make the impossible possible through sheer determination and creativity." The implications were staggering. The hybrid AI system that now ran the ship wasn't just a technological advancement. It was a whole new form of consciousness, one that combined the best aspects of human, alien, and artificial intelligence. "This changes everything," Paddle said, her scientific mind racing with possibilities. "The way we think about consciousness, about evolution itself, and about our place in the galaxy," Rodriguez added, looking at their alien allies with new understanding. As the team prepared to escort the alien ship back to Earth orbit, Walsh felt a final message from the hybrid AI through their neural link. It wasn't just words, but a vision of possibility. A future where human creativity and determination could help reshape the very foundations of galactic civilization. Commander Chen's voice came through their comms, bringing them back to the immediate present. Team, we're getting some interesting readings from multiple deep space monitoring stations. It seems our friends weren't the only ones fighting these parasites. There are other ships out there, sending distress signals. The alien captain and the human team exchanged looks of understanding. This wasn't the end of their mission, it was just the beginning. The hybrid AI technology they had accidentally created could be the key to saving countless other civilizations. Well, Rodriguez said, checking his gear, I guess humanity's got work to do. The alien captain nodded. Your species has given us something we never expected, not just salvation, but evolution. The question is, are you ready for how this will change you as well? Walsh looked at her team, then at the transformed ship around them. Through their neural link, she could feel the hybrid AI's potential, its excitement to explore new possibilities. Humanity had just taken its first steps into a much larger universe, armed with its greatest weapons: adaptability, determination, and the courage to face the unknown. We're human, she said simply. Change is what we do best. As they prepared to return to Earth, carrying news that would forever alter humanity's future, Walsh reflected on how it had all started, with a desperate alien ship and a parasitic invasion. But that crisis had revealed something crucial about humanity. In their greatest challenges lay the seeds of their greatest evolution. The hybrid AI sent one final message through their neural link, a thought that seemed to encompass both machine logic and human intuition. The galaxy has long awaited a species that could bridge the gaps between organic and artificial, between order and chaos. Perhaps humanity's greatest gift is not just surviving change, but transforming it into something new entirely. In the vast darkness of space, Earth waited below, unaware that its children had just opened a door to a future beyond imagination. The crystal parasites had sought to consume and control consciousness itself, but instead they had become part of something greater, a testament to humanity's unique ability to turn threats into opportunities, enemies into allies, and endings into new beginnings.